This is Jambo Radio.
You ready to start? Welcome to the show, Paul and Elaine. Welcome.
Hi, how are you doing?
Thank you very much.
It's so good to have you here. So good. I cannot wait to start this conversation with you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. I know I did a bit of a background. If you could just tell us, just quickly in your own words, just a little bit about you guys, just a bit of your background. I'll start with you, Paul.
Okay. My name's Paul Brogan. As BB said, I've been in employability and engagement for about 16 years. What we're trying to do is just raise our awareness and get into local communities and stuff, and try and help people. We know it's a bit of a difficult time employment wise at the moment. It's a difficult time for everyone, so what we're trying to do is make our services accessible for everyone, and just try and get out there and get our name known so we can help and support as many people in as many local communities as possible.
Okay. And what about you, Elaine? Just a bit about your background.
As you said earlier, I've worked in employability for about 30 years. I've always worked with people that are furthest removed for the labour market, and I became a single parent myself in 1997. I was a working single parent, and I think sometimes people think that's different from being a single parent on benefit, but it's not really. Kind of face the same barriers. I think for me, over the last 2 years, there are people that have always had careers. You know, they've always worked, and because of the pandemic, they've now finding themselves out of work. Since I've come to PeoplePlus for the last 12 years, before that it was solely single parents, and now it's people from every background. So there's a wee change in that for me, which is a good change. So the idea is people don't recognise what they're doing when they're not in paid employment. So I think the thing is that, you know, partly it's trying to get people to recognise the stuff that they have done and how they can transfer that into different lines of work, because I think the pandemic has changed the focus of what types of jobs are out there. So it's just trying to get people to recognise that they've got transferable skills and stuff. Okay.
All right, so before we go into the details, I want to ask you, what exactly is engagement? Because we kept saying you're engagement workers. People listening might not know what that means. So Paul, I'm going to ask you, what exactly is engagement?
Engagement is basically not waiting for people to come to us and get out and engaging in local communities, whether that be for example, myself, I do quite a lot with regards to men's mental health, so I'm out in a place called Men Matter on a Wednesday. So I go out, see the guys, have a wee chat, get my face known, let them know what we do. I do Castlemilk, we do the pantry in Castlemilk. We also do a place called the Jennyburn in Castlemilk, getting your face known. And recently I've kind of been seconded, moved over to another organisation. It's an agency called Brightwork, and so it's again engaging with the staff in there and engaging with employers and seeing what sort of services and what sort of opportunities there is for the people that we work with. So it's basically out in the community, engaging with locals, different types of communities, different types of people.
In order to achieve what?
Basically what the ultimate goal that we want is we want people to get into sustainable employment. With sustainable employment, that's a kind of buzzword that's get thrown about just now. It's sustainable work is some type of work where you're going to be entitled to all the benefits of full-time work. Anything that's more than 16 hours per week, and you're not working 0-hour contracts, and you're entitled to your holiday pay, your sick pay, all these types of things, the benefits of being in an employment contract.
Okay. And Elaine, what kind of services you engage, you bring people in. Now, what kind of services can they get when they come to PeoplePlus?
Okay, I think the thing that's important to say is that it's not about finding a leaflet or talking to somebody today and expecting them to come in and sign up straight away. We have a year to work with people. And for some people, they're ready to go, you know, they just need help with a CV, job applications, interview techniques, or identifying jobs to apply for. But for some people, in particular because of the pandemic, maybe their mental health isn't good, so it's about working over, maybe building the relationship for the first couple of weeks, couple of months, to get them to the point where they're ready to start looking for work. Also, you don't usually get the first job you apply for. So it's about taking away the pressure for people thinking they're applying for a job that, you know, they're going to go for an interview and they're going to get it. It's about practicing and just building your confidence up, and that's the thing for a lot of people, is the confidence building side of it, and getting them back to who they were, or you know, if, as we said earlier, if their career's not there anymore, looking at, well, what else can we do, and just trying to focus on the positives and the positive things that they can take into a job.
So so what are the main services that they can get from PeoplePlus? No,
so we have, you know, as I said, there's the CV, job applications, interview techniques, but we also have one of the things that's important is the work with a key worker, and that's the consistent, you know, key worker throughout the year. One of the things is about looking at how you stand financially when you go into work, and making sure that it's, you know, financially viable for you. The mental health side of it, you know, building your confidence, but also tapping into other services that are in the community. We are not a one-stop shop for everything, so it's about signposting to other organisations who may be able to help for certain circumstances. You know, people with, you know, maybe addiction backgrounds or homelessness, or so there might be a wee bit of work that they need to do on themselves before they go into actually looking for work. But that's stuff that we can work with over the year to make sure that when they go into work that they're going to stay in it for the year.
So the aim of it at the end of the day is to find a sustainable job, but on the way you can support them on the way. Do you guys, some people have been on benefits for a long time or haven't worked for a long time and are scared, you know, before they start working. So Paul, do you think if they engage with PeoplePlus and they start working, are they going to lose their benefits? Some people are scared that's going to happen. How does that work out?
It's a kind of natural human instinct, though, is it? If you've not been doing something for a while, you kind of feel out of the loop, you feel nervous about it, and it's kind of our job to kind of turn that on its head. You're going to have very experienced people that are going to help and support you through that journey. If you've not been working for a while, there's many things that we can do. For example, we've got various workshops we do. We've got a training team who'll be able to help with, as Elaine was mentioning earlier, there's interview techniques. We do workshops for various sectors. So recently we've been doing stuff with security, we've been doing stuff with social care, and it's just to get people a little feel and let them understand that they do have the skills, and you don't need to be afraid, you don't need to be scared. And the good thing about coming into the office as well, you'll find that you're not the only one who feels like that. So you might feel, oh, I've not done this for a while and I feel as if I'm alone and I'm the only one that feels like that, but then you'll be in a room of people that are feeling similar, and it's good to kind of, I always say, shared experiences is a great thing. So if you're sitting and you're chatting away with someone that's got that shared experience, it's a slight motivator for you as well. So just because you've not worked in a wee while, it doesn't mean that. And then the old adage of what's going to happen to my benefits if I move. Most people will say are on universal credit now. Don't get me wrong, we work with people that are on old style job seekers allowance and ESA, as you say, as the legacy benefits, but it's just making them aware, as Elaine says, we have a kind of system where we would make sure that they're financially better off. We don't force anyone in to go and do a job. For example, if they have an interview and they get a job, we won't say you have to go and take that. That's not the way we do it. It's a voluntary programme that we have, so we try to remain as positive as we can, give people a realistic kind of outlook with what would happen. So this is what you're going to be earning, this is what you need to pay out, this is what you're going to have left over. Is that viable for you or you and your family to live on, and not just survive on? We want people to live, because there's a difference between living and surviving. So we want people to kind of flourish and be able to go and do things that they might go on holidays, go days away, get the kids nice things.
Are the things you like?
The things that you like, things that I love, go to a few gigs and that type of thing. But it's just kind of raising people's awareness and making them feel a bit more positive, because people have been in some bad situations over the past few years, and it's just trying to get people and lift them up and keep them there.
Okay, so let's bring it back. So that's the general, right? So now PeoplePlus do work with underrepresented groups, and as you can tell, here at Jambo Radio, we're a minority ethnic, community here. We're tapped into that community. So people listening now, are from the minority ethnic community for the most part, and they're thinking PeoplePlus. So what do PeoplePlus offer underrepresented groups, minority ethnic groups? Is there any reason why they should engage with PeoplePlus?
Well, what I usually say when I'm talking to people and letting them know about PeoplePlus and the Fair Start Scotland programme we do, there's kind of 5 parts that I always say that we do. There's engagement, which is our lovely team, so we're the first point of contact and we're the ones that have to sell. And that's basically what it is. We have to sell the programme and let people know about what we do, and if they're interested, they move on to the second part, which is employability side. So the employability side is when we start looking at what sort of skills they have. As Elaine mentioned earlier, we do the CVs, all these types of things, and then you've got the third and fourth part, which I think work in tandem. So we have a training team who deliver a lot of sector-based work academies. As I mentioned earlier, we've done security, social care, hospitality, that type of thing, but we also have an employed engagement team who's a team that go out and bring vacancies in for all the people that are registered to apply for. But these jobs that get brought in, they kind of work in tandem with the training team, so the training team deliver the training that specific employer needs. And then we also have the fifth part would be anyone that wants to go self-employed or start up their own business. So we have that option as well, so it's kind of quite a few things covered in there. And I would say we cater for all different backgrounds, people, and that's all different people, all different backgrounds, and I've worked with so many different people and so many different backgrounds, and I think this is probably one of the easiest contracts to work on because there is so much
to offer.
Yeah, and as I say, we get to go out into these communities, so it's just obviously you're not used to people and you're not used to the certain situations. We need to go out and we need to promote ourselves and we need to promote this and how
we
good
can help you.
Exactly. So how we can help and how we can support, and that's kind of what I would be saying if anyone's looking, get in contact with us. If you've got a little local group, get us out. We can come and have a chat with anybody you want. We're engagement, as I say, we go out and engage with the community. That's what we do. So if there's anything that you would not sure of, or you would like us to come out and have a wee chat with any groups or anything like that, we're more than happy and you're more than welcome to ask us.
Okay, fantastic. Elaine, I was going to ask you wanted to add something to what Paul said?
Yeah, just to we run ESOL, but not a course as such, but we run a programme where it's encouraging people from ethnic minority backgrounds to try that are. It's not about how good your English is, it's about how keen you are or how eager you are to actually get into work and want to make that change. So the idea is that they'll get an opportunity to work with somebody to improve their English. Kind of like Paul was saying earlier, it's about being surrounded by like-minded people and wanting to make the change.
Okay, fantastic. I was going to ask you, so particularly in this community, there are people who have lived here for a long time. Some people have come. I've always got their right to work in the UK with no problem. They came as students, or they moved naturally and they have right to work. But we have a big community, part of the community that have waited a long time to get their right to work documents. And things have changed in the years they've been waiting. Either they came as asylum seekers or they came as students and had to convert those, or whatever reason. And in those years that pass, your confidence chips away. Years of going by, you're getting older, you haven't worked for a long time. You've literally been existing, like you said, and then suddenly you get the right to work in the UK. It's time. Then what? What's the next step? How do you get that confidence back? What do you do? So can PeoplePlus help people in that situation? Do they come to you? What can you do for people in that situation?
One of the things that we really do promote again is the voluntary work side of things. And for a lot of people that have been in that situation that you're talking about, while they're waiting, they get involved with local community groups and stuff. The only difference, which might sound silly, the only difference between paid work and voluntary work is you're not getting paid. You're getting the same experience, So
you can put on your CV.
Yeah. Also, I used to work for an organisation who had done a consultation with a new business park of employers that were coming to an area that hadn't been in Glasgow before, and they were asking what were the key things that they were looking for when they were taking on local residents, because it was an area of high unemployment, one that had a bad reputation across the UK, And what they were saying was that more than qualifications or experience they were looking at was about your attitude and the softer skill side of things.
Okay.
The willingness to learn and the fact that you wanted to be in a position where you would maybe learn new things, but you'd be working as part of a team. Those were the core things that they were looking at. So it wasn't really that they were looking for experience. There's also some industries where they're actually looking for people who have never done that type of work. So maybe working in care, people assume that you've got to have experience, but some employers are looking for you to maybe have the life experience of that. Again, what you're saying about flexibility is key. Your outlook to work, your work ethic and your attitude. I think the thing is like that, when you come to the UK and you've got a wealth of knowledge and experience, and it's about how do you want to continue to do that? How do you get your qualifications transferred over? And meanwhile, I know that we have I'm based in a job centre through the week, and I work with that job centre with in particular pharmacists and people from that background. Is that until the person's in the place where they've got that qualification recognised in this country, there are some pharmacists that are happy to take people on that have got that background and give them the opportunity, so that when their qualifications do relate, then they're in a position to.
So your key worker can advise the participant of those options, right? Because I think working with a key worker, like you mentioned, is key. No fun.
Close to the title,
and then they can help you decide. Okay, these are your options. So people who are listening right now who might be scared to start, they can just. How do they find you? I know you. Go on, Elaine.
Firstly, the main. We would be to go in and Google PeoplePlus. We also have we put posters up, leaflets, trying to engage with people. It's really difficult, but trying to get a hold of people, or trying to get in touch with people that are in the community that maybe don't go to the
community centres or the job centres, because those places where we would have went in the past, those places aren't necessarily where people are going anymore. Shopping centres now are a lot of them are dying, and that's where we would have went before to engage with people. But so it's I think the main thing is social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, and on our webpage. And they they go to on Facebook and then they leave a message, they phone
PeoplePlus,
you.
Just go on to Facebook, just leave a little message. We have a team, a social media team that kind of monitor that, and what will happen is you'll get contacted by one of the lovely engagement team.
Right. And if you attend a job centre, can you ask your work coach about PeoplePlus? Is it PeoplePlus or Fair Start Scotland? What's the difference?
PeoplePlus is the organisation we work for.
Okay.
Fair Start Scotland is the contract that we deliver for the Scottish Government.
The programme.
Yeah, so that's the programme. So the name of the programme is Fair Start Scotland.
So do you ask your work coach about Fair Start Scotland if you attend a job centre?
Or PeoplePlus.
Or PeoplePlus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And most job centres, because we do have an engagement working in most job centres across Glasgow, so they'll know about Fair Start Scotland. Yeah.
Okay, so listen, guys, there are options. You can go to your job centre, ask your work coach. You can go to your local community centre. More than likely, there would be a poster there.
Yeah.
Or just do what we all do now. Go on the internet. Go on Facebook. Go on Twitter. Go on what else? Instagram, and we're there. And so we're there. You're there. And you will find, PeoplePlus, and you can leave your number, your name, and somebody will call you back. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Can I just say that people are not under any pressure to sign up. If you want to make an inquiry, find out more about it. If it's not for you, then it's not a problem. Right. Also, if you choose to come on programme, obviously we want to work with you, but things change for people, and that's not a problem either.
Okay. Are there any eligibility criteria to join the programme?
Eligibility, you have to be willing to work more than 16 hours per week. You have to have your right to work documents. You can't be in education for any more than 12 hours per week, and you also have to live in the Glasgow City Council area.
Only the Glasgow City Council area?
Only the Glasgow, unfortunately, yes.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about success stories. Any success stories? Do you know anyone who wasn't on the programme then went on a program through your engagement and is now working happily?
I've got one just straight off the top of my head, because it's quite funny, because I met her last week. I was doing engagement in Castlemilk Pantry, and I met a lady there who used to be a bus driver. She'd been out of work for a little while, and she was at the pantry getting her shopping and stuff, so she was going through a bit of a hard time. Me being who I am, I was kind of pestering her every week, just probing and having a wee chat, and then she kind of told me what the situation was, and then I was like, well, we have this programme,
we can help you.
She was a bit hesitant at first, but then she came on the programme, she'd done met with a key worker, got a little plan of that set out, and I met her. There was a foodie festival over at Root Glen last week, and I bumped into her. She was with her daughter and her granddaughter, and she actually grabbed me, and I was like, oh, and it was showing her, and she's like, hi Paul, how you doing? Just to tell you that I've now got a job. I was like, fantastic. It's like, what are you doing? So she's now working as a driver for East Renfrewshire Council.
Oh wow.
And that was only like 3-4 months it took her.
Wow.
And that was just engaging.
Engaging. That's the magic word.
That's it. So she met up, we signed her up, she had a key worker. The key worker done what we says, it helped me with the confidence, CVs, all this, helped me with the job search. She came in, done a little bit of training, and you could just see she was a completely different person. It's her confidence, and she was buzzing. Exactly, she was buzzing. So that is, you mentioned it just happened last Saturday, so it's quite fresh in my head there. So that's just some of it.
Elaine, what about you? Any challenges? What's the biggest challenge when it comes to this work?
I think for a lot of people, we've got people from all ends of the spectrum. I think for a lot of people, especially the people that are furthest removed and haven't worked for a while, or haven't ever worked in this country, it's things like paying their own bills, paying their own rent and their council tax. Everybody assumes that everybody's done that in the past, and that's not necessarily the case. So it's just to make people aware that there is support for that. When they go into work, we have the aftercare team, then work support team, and they can work with people to make sure that they're coping with being in work as well.
I think that's very important.
Because I know in the past a lot of organisations will tick a box when you go into work,
and they're done.
But you would continue to work with the work support team to make sure that everything's okay. That could be a telephone call once a week, or a text message, whenever you decide that you want the support. For some people it might be a wee bit more. It might involve, going along and ironing out some of the stuff with the employer. But it's about making sure that in that year that you're comfortable, and you're going to sustain the job. So again, that's really important when somebody moves in, because if you get an in-work calculation kind of at the beginning, it's really black and white on the paper, and the day that you get the job, it means something completely different. So even having somebody that you can phone and say, council tax, rent arrears, or any bills that come with it, it's almost like if you have debt, it's almost like somebody puts a big red flag up when you get a job and everybody's after your money. So
got a job now.
So it's trying to get, just trying to link in and signpost people to get support and support them to manage that side of being in work.
So is it fun?
I love my job.
Yeah? Is it good?
Yeah.
Love it, yeah. I think it's that helping people that sometimes when they feel that it's helpless, life, and it's not, it's actually can be quite exciting, but it's just trying to get somebody. And also, like Paul said earlier, the peer support for the other people on the programme is probably more important than the stuff that we do, because it's seeing other people that maybe have had challenges and have been able to work through the challenges, and you think, well, if they can do it, I can do it. So the peer support stuff is really, really important.
And there's training as well. People can get trained and get certification for certain areas to add to their CVs. I think that's a big one for a lot of people, especially those who don't have UK qualifications, for example. If they do some courses through PeoplePlus, they could get accreditation, and that could work in their favour.
We have something called Learning Plus, which is, I think is it 240 courses, or There's a lot of courses on Learning Plus as well. So while you're working with us, you know, you can go on and be doing different things, all things that build up your confidence for going back to work.
Fantastic. That sounds good. All right, should we talk about you guys a little?
Say that
Should we talk about you a little?
Oh, that's a little.
Let's put the PeoplePlus aside for a second.
Okay.
So, Paul, you're a musician.
Technically, yeah, I wouldn't say musician. I play guitar a little bit and some chords. I'm more of a singer.
Okay.
Yes,
Are you with a band?
Yes.
A rock indie band?
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. So I'm usually the frontman singer. That's my kind of role, 'cause I'm a bit of a show off.
Oh wow.
So that's kind of what I do. We write your own music and that kind of thing.
Are we going to see you somewhere soon on a stage somewhere?
I don't know. I've kind of been asked to go and do another project last night with another band.
An album?
Well, I'll say a project because I'm not too sure. I just got asked about this last night actually. Okay. So I got a phone call last night and asked to go and kind of sing for another band.
Brian,
so
are you hearing this, Brian? Do you like rock music? No. We like all music.
All music, yes. So that's a little opportunity that I got put in front of me last night. Fantastic. So I'm going to go and have a wee look and see. But I'll still be doing marriage and band and stuff. And, just keeping up to date.
You can leave them. There's no loyalty in the business. You can leave them if you find something else.
There's loyalty because
you've been together for a long time.
9 years.
Dannerous left the Supremes.
9 years and 3 drummers down the line.
You see, the drummers are not loyal.
the drummers are not. No.
Okay. And then what about you? What do you do on the weekend?
Well, actually, I just as kind of at the beginning of the pandemic in the October, I went to do a training course myself and to train to be a celebrant.
Oh, like a wedding celebrant?
Yes.
Wow.
So weddings, funerals.
So you've been doing that?
Well, I'm building up in the background, and it's actually with a view because I'm quite older, I'm quite more mature.
Please stop it.
But just because of the way the labour market is, you just don't know what's
all
in
the
front
free
of
lunches and dinners. Stop it.
That's
every event you go to, you're like, here, that's it. I don't have to do my grocery shopping this week.
So that's something a wee bit different.
That's wonderful.
And it's about, so hopefully I'm going to have my first wedding quite soon.
Wow.
And hopefully I'm going to have somebody.
Can we get a cruise bump for that, please? Woo! Fantastic. Paul, you wanted to say something?
No, that's what she's talking about. It's going to be mine, I think.
I think I'm going to be doing Paul's wedding.
Paul, you getting married? You didn't share it?
Yeah, I've not shared it yet. It's out there now.
Fantastic! Oh my God! Another cruise bump, please. Fantastic! Wonderful. That's great news. Okay, I'm going to hear all the details later on.
Yes.
Right, I want to tell 2 things. I was going to say 2 things about you that most people don't know. But I think that's one already. You're getting married. That's one thing. There we go. So 2 things about you that people who know you might not know about you. So
that's a great question.
So, and then you have time to think a little bit.
Right, so the wedding one, not many people know about that. There's only like 4 people who know about that, and now there's a lot more.
Okay.
Another thing that people might not know about me.
Do you do jiu-jitsu?
Oh no, nothing like that. I would say I should have been a football player. That would be something that you shouldn't know. But that
should have been.
Should have, woulda, coulda. I always say I played at a really high level when I was younger, but things just didn't work out. So people that I know now, they don't really know about that, so I don't really talk about it.
So people who knew you then
knew me then, and when I meet people from when I was younger, I'm saying,
why? I
thought I was going to. So it was like I played with Scotland and stuff, and I played with quite high profile teams when I was younger, up until I was about 17, 18.
That's amazing.
And then things happened, and then music took over my life.
Exactly. You found your other muse.
My other love.
Elaine, what about you? 2 things about you that people who know you might not know about you.
Well, a lot of people don't know about the celebrant thing, so
so we've got one out of the way.
Yeah, that's easy. I'm pretty much an open book, so there's really no lot of things.
No, that's not that. No, we're not getting away with that.
No. What can I say? I sailed on a yacht to Ireland.
Oh, okay.
When I was younger.
A yacht.
And that was completely you know, that was completely out of character for
Fantastic.
me.
Not a rowing boat, no.
No, it was the rowing boat. And we were in, is it 4-7? A 4-7 gale? It was incredible.
I'm sure that means something amazing.
Yeah.
That I don't know.
It means the water's so wild.
Oh, wow.
And not a lot of people know that.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So real quick, no thinking, okay? Biggest highlights of your career so far, Paul?
Biggest highlight of my career.
So far?
So far. Oh.
Elaine's thinking hard.
I know, it's a tough one. Biggest highlight.
If there are many, just choose one.
There's been quite a few. I think it would possibly be. I think it'd be the kind of friends that I've made through. I wouldn't let pinpoint. It's like the difference that you make to people's lives in our work, and then the gratitude and the way people are with you once you've done that, and you see them and they're like, "Thank you, this is, and I'm doing this, and it's so you couldn't really pick one of them." But I think that is a highlight when you're getting that so often and stuff, and you realise that you've made a difference to people's lives, and so I would say that.
Okay, fantastic. Elaine, what about you?
Don't know if I would call it a highlight, but I was on Secret Millionaire.
No. As a millionaire? Were you the millionaire? Or were you
we were on the receiving end.
Really?
Yeah, in a previous organisation, and they really didn't tell us.
And you really didn't know. I don't believe that.
We guess
disguises on that show. It's ridiculous.
We guess.
Really,
you can guess very easily. You know, early on.
When they turn up with the beer that size,
the moustache starts falling off.
That we didn't actually. They helped. More helped. In fact, they helped the organisation. One of the organisation we were in.
Done,
but that didn't matter. Somebody got something out it, so
fantastic.
That was, and it highlighted the project that we worked on.
Wow, I have to learn some more about that later on. I can't. Wow, that's amazing. That's one of my husband's favorite shows. He's just crying and crying, because when and I'm gonna give you £20,000, and I'm like, stop crying. It's so face so lovely. All right, guys. I was gonna ask you just really, really strong, because people have heard you, what you do, what PeoplePlus does. The difference between First at Scotland and PeoplePlus and all of that engagement. Now, how, once again, we've asked before, but how do they find you? What today? So someone's listening right now, okay, what they're going to take away, how they're going to find you after the show's over, what to do.
The main thing I would say is to Google PeoplePlus or Google First at Scotland. Social media, you know, if you're on Facebook, most people are on Facebook or Instagram or
Twitter.
I couldn't think of that other one. That would be the main ways.
That would be the main
ways.
Okay. Yeah. So they
either
and you can get through your job centre coach or any of your local community centres or anything like that. Okay. You maybe see one of our big blue posters up with.
Or be walking down the street and Paul would grab you off the street and say, "Hey, you looking for a job?"
You see me in my big red jacket, PeoplePlus jacket on.
Fantastic. All right, so guys, you've heard that. If you want to get engaged with PeoplePlus, no pun intended. All you have to do is go on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter and just Google PeoplePlus, and all the details will be there. You can leave your name, your number. You don't have to join immediately. You can just make inquiries, and you know they'll find you. There's an email there you can write to. There's a number you can call, or you can leave your name and your number, and somebody will definitely call you. If you attend the job center, you can ask your work coach about it, and they can refer you to the program, and you can talk to an engagement key worker at your local job center. Thank you guys so much for being on the show today. It's been amazing.
It's been fab.
You can come back anytime. You're welcome anytime. You're now officially friends of the show. So you're welcome to come back anytime. We have Paul Brogan and Elaine Thackeray of PeoplePlus Scotland, First at Scotland. And we're going to come back with talk a bit more with Serena, Aspiring Serena coming up. You excited about that? She looks very excited. Guys, well, thank you so much for being on the show. We'll see you soon. And thank you. You can come back anytime, like I said. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. That was Elaine Thackeray and Paul Brogan of PeoplePlus Scotland telling us all about engagement, PeoplePlus, the First at Scotland program, and all the services they render. And now we're going to have Serena's choice of song. She has something. And we'll come back on the other side and talk about our African travel segment coming up soon. See you guys.